Hello and welcome to Bible Study with Alice, and today we're on day 65, Psalm 65 of our daily psalm reading. We are reading from the ESV translation, but you're more than welcome to join us from a different translation. As you can see, we are on Psalm 65. These videos are filmed in real time. Today's date's the 7th of January 25 and it's a Tuesday. You can find the previous 64 psalms in the playlist below. There is a disclaimer as usual, and that is one, these videos are unedited and also I probably stumble my wording. Let's get started. O God of our salvation, to the choir master, a psalm of David, a song. Before we get started in reading this, I want to make you aware it is a song and I'm not a singer. I do participate in the choir, but I'm not a singer as such, so I won't be singing any of the psalms, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you do, then well done on you for singing them. Let's get into the psalm. So we're on verse 1. Praise is due to you, O God, in Zion, and to you shall thou be formed. O you who hear prayer, to you shall all flesh come. When iniquities prevail against me, you atone for our transgressions. Blessed is the one who you choose and bring near to dwell in your courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of your house, the holiness of your temple. Can't do this in a way that we can see this. Let's try it that way. By awesomeness deeds, your answer us with righteousness. O God of our salvation, the hope of all the end of the earth and the farthest seas, the one who by your strength established the mountains, being girded with might, who still the roaring of the seas, the roaring of the waves, the tumult of the people, so that those who dwell at the end of the earth are in awe of your signs. You make the going out of the morning and the evening for shouts for joy. You visit the earth and water it. You greatly enrich it. The river of God is full of water. You provide their grain, for so you have prepared it. You water its furrows abundantly, settling its ridges, softening it with showers, and blessing its growth. You crown the year with your bounty. Your wagon tracks overflow with abundance. The pastures of the wilderness overflow. The hills gird themselves with joy. The meadow cloths themselves with flocks. The valley decks themselves with grain. They shout and sing together for joy. So that is Psalm 65 complete. And tomorrow we will be doing Psalm 66. We are slowly getting to halfway through the Book of Psalms. I say slowly, 75 is when we hit halfway. So we are doing really well, as we are on 66. Well, we will be doing 66 Psalms tomorrow, but we're on, at the moment, 65. So we are doing really well at this. So for new viewers, I will now put on a post-it note on the screen. Returning viewers will know this, but for new viewers, you won't know this. But I put a post-it note on the screen. It will talk about the psalm that we've covered, which is obviously Psalm 65. And we will talk about what the psalm is all about. We talk about who's written it, if there is an author. There are psalms where historians and scholars don't actually know who had written the psalm. It would be an unknown author. A lot of the psalms, a good chunk of psalms, are written by David, and it could be during his reign as king or before his reign as king, but generally speaking, a good chunk of those psalms are written by David, and there are psalms which are written by other authors. Some authors they do know, and other authors they don't, which is obviously unknown. they have on the post-it note, the time period that the psalm was written in. There are a lot of psalms where the time period is also unknown, and there are a good chunk where they do know the time period. When I say they, obviously that's historians and scholars, where they know when that psalm was written. Just wanted to make sure you're aware of all that. So this is going to be a bit complicated because I'm going to take it off the screen because there are bits where it's written up here. Because obviously the way the post-it note is. I'm trying to think of a way to do this where I can actually write it down, show you what's been written, and we can actually see everything. So I might have to do it in a notebook, I'm not too sure, but I'll think of that. I'll think on that one and see how we go. So I'm going to take it off the screen for now so I can actually read what it says, because obviously black writing onto a pattern. So King David written Psalm 65, as it had mentioned. Let's bring it in a bit. Where it mentioned here, to the choir master, a Psalm of David. So that gives away who had been the author. And the date is unknown, so they don't exactly know when the date was, but the event, because as I had mentioned in previous videos, a lot of the psalms, they go by an event when that psalm was written. I had mentioned it in yesterday's video. I'm just gonna get the post-it note for it. I do keep my post-it notes nearby. Yeah, so Psalm 64, this one here, which we did yesterday, it had mentioned at the bottom where it's obviously talking about God's judgment on David's enemies, and it's not a connection to any moment in David's life or any event in David's life. So that's what I mean. So some of the psalms where the event isn't linked, and I did mention, and I do remember the number, it's Psalm 50, not doing really good at this, Psalm 51. So in the little bit at the top, it's to the choir master, a Psalm of David, when Nathan the prophet went to him after he had gone in to Bathsheba. So that's obviously talking about his, David that is, relationship with Bathsheba, and obviously when he went and killed Bathsheba's husband. But yeah, so that's basically that event on that particular psalm. So that's what I mean. There are psalms where the event even, they know the event, and other psalms they don't. Case in point, Psalm 64, there's no event linked to Psalm 64, but obviously in Psalm 51, the event that was linked to that psalm was obviously his relationship with Bathsheba, and obviously the fact that he had her husband killed. But yeah, so with Psalm 65, as I said, the date's unknown, but it's likely during the Israelite conquest on Canaan, and or a post-exilic period in the 5th century. So they're not 100% sure if it was during the Israelite conquest on Canaan or if it was actually post-exilic period in the 5th century. But that's what the historians aren't 100% sure. So now I can put it back on. It's a song of praise and thanksgiving to God for his kindness, bounty, and creative majesty. That word I always struggle with. So, as I had mentioned, just after I had mentioned that little bit here, where it says, to the choir master, a Psalm of David, a song. And I said that it's actually more of a song than anything else, and I'm not going to sing it. But yeah, so it's a song of praise and thanksgiving to God for his kindness and bounty and creative majesty. It is a harvest psalm that highlights God's faithfulness in providing for the earth and his people. It has obviously mentioned in, just bring it up, in particular in verse 9, you visit the earth and water it, you greatly enrich it, the river of God is full of water, you provide their grain, for so you have prepared it. You water its furrow abundantly, settling its ridges, softening with showers and blessing its growth. So obviously that in particular, verse 9 and 10 are mainly talking about the harvest and how providing for the earth and his people. And then obviously here is the key themes during the psalm. So the key themes during Psalm 65 is God's goodness, God's answer to prayer, God's forgiveness, God's provision for crop, which is obviously when I mentioned in verse 9 and 10, and God's strength. So those are the key themes during Psalm 65. So that is Psalm 65 complete. And now I always do this I try to do this actually. Obviously, as a couple of videos back, I hadn't, but that's neither here or there now. But I do write in the day and the date. I do it mainly to help me to feel accountable for doing my study. And if you're doing this with me in real time yourself, you know, you're getting your Bible out and you're reading Psalm 65 with me, it's also there to help you to feel accountable too. So you've always got somebody there with you on your Bible study journey, which is always helpful and very good. I have to admit, I do quite like doing that, putting the date and the date in, a bit like a journal for myself. I mean, it is a Bible journal, I guess you could say that, because obviously the way it's got the extra wide column down the sides, so it is more, my Bible is more of a journal more than anything, but I quite like the idea of doing it that way. So I will write in day 65, and we're on the 7th of the 1st, 25. I'm getting used to writing 25, which is really helpful, because I have to admit, I was very worried that I'm probably going to start writing 24. It usually happens in the first month of the year. So I guess you could say why I've decided to do this Bible study. I guess you could say it's because when I've looked on YouTube in the past, I've come across Bible studies, and I'm not going to knock none of the Bible studies channels at all, because I have to admit they're all helpful in their own way. They all help people to come closer to God, which is obviously the purpose of a Bible study, is obviously there to help people. But I've never come across anything for people who are beginners. I mean, I'm not a beginner. I've been studying the Bible for years, in all fairness, and I've always wondered what it would be like to have a Bible study for beginners in a way that a beginner would want it to be. And during my time before I started my channel, I kept getting promptings to do a Bible study like this, so to help people to study the Bible. And obviously I won't bombard people with information, because I know nothing's worse than being bombarded with too much information, and we don't need that in a Bible study. when you're a beginner. You expect it when you've been in an advanced Bible study group. You expect that then. You expect to be bombarded with tons of information, and the Bible is full with annotations and post-it notes and all that type of stuff. You do expect that at that level. But I never came across a Bible study for something for people who are beginning in the Bible journey, who are learning from the start. I mean, I know obviously some people are going to be finding my channel much later in time. Some people probably just come across my video today and obviously there have obviously been people who found my channel before, and people obviously want a Bible study group for beginners, for somebody who will explain it in a way that will help them to understand it and give them an understanding of the gospel in a way that is bite-sized and easy to grasp and easy to understand. I mean, like I said, I've come across plenty of Bible study groups, and I have a couple on podcasts as well, and I mean, it's helpful for me because obviously that's the level I'm at when it's advanced. But I had thought to myself, what happens if somebody stumbled across that at beginner level? It would just be like information overload. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be ideal if somebody created, I'm not saying there isn't, but wouldn't it be ideal if somebody created it at a level where everybody can understand it? You can just switch on and you have somebody who will just explain it in a way that is easier to understand, and it would just be ideal. So that's what this channel is all about. I'm here every single day helping you to come closer to God. I'm here to help you to understand it. Now, on different translations, I do read from the King James Version myself personally. It's a Bible I do read from, and I know that if I was to film these videos for you in the King James Version, the stumbling of the words will be all over the place, because I can read it, I just stumble when I'm talking out loud. When I'm reading to myself in my head, I'm fine, but it's when I talk out loud and reading it out loud is when I stumble. So that's why I found the ESV translation to be the translation for me. Now, as I said, obviously I said at the start of the video, that you are more than welcome to join us from whatever translation. Doesn't have to be the ESV, doesn't have to be the King James Version, it could be any version. I mean, it could be the She Read Truth Bible or He Read Truth Bible, whichever gender, whatever, I ain't word, whatever one it is. You can read from the New King James Version, you can read from the NLT version, the CSB translation. As we can establish, it doesn't matter, because it's what you feel comfortable reading is the most important part for me. So for me, I want you to learn in a translation that, or read from a translation that you feel comfortable and you are able to understand, because that's what's important at the end of the day, is your learning. I mean, we all are capable of learning at whatever rate we are. We are able to understand things at different levels, and reading a Bible, as I've always said, it's a big old Bible, it's a big book, it's old, it's in a language that is old. Obviously we don't read like speaking the way that it was written, obviously, and obviously it's then been translated from Hebrew and all sorts of different things, and it's just obviously a complicated Bible. So that's one of the reasons why I do this Bible study in the ESV translation. So if it's a translation that is easier to read, especially if you're reading it from camera, because I'm actually, when I'm reading it through the camera, so that's why I make it bigger as well, so I can actually read it. But at the same time, so you can read it, because the purpose of why I film it with the Bible here and not me being on show, one is I'm actually camera shy. That's actually the main reason. And the other reason is it's not about me, it's about the Bible. And the most important aspect of these videos, as it says in the title, Bible study with Alice. It's a Bible study with me. So it's not a channel dedicated to me, it's dedicated to Bible study. So that's why I always have the camera pointing to the Bible. And obviously you're going to see my hands and stuff naturally, but that's the main reason why you don't actually see my face. It's not because I don't, well, it is mainly because I'm camera shy, but it's not because the channel's based on me. It's not based on me, it's based on the Bible. So I just wanted to make you aware that why I've done the channel. I know obviously it's on Psalm 65, I'm telling you this. I will do a separate video again, more of an updated one, and it's just going to be a full Bible talk with me explaining this channel, the purpose of the channel, what we're hoping to do in the year and all that sort of stuff. I will sit down and actually look at everything and be like, oh, this is what we're going to be doing, this is what I got ideas on and what have you. But the main purpose at the moment is the daily psalms, because that's the other reason why I do one psalm a day. There are obviously other channels who will read multiple chapters in the Bible. You could be doing a Bible study from the start of like reading the Bible in a year, and obviously on January the 1st we start reading the Bible. I am actually following a couple of channels that are doing that actually, so that's what made me bring this up. I'm not knocking what they do, because I actually enjoy watching their channels, enjoy listening to their podcasts, so that's why I'm actually not saying anything bad about them. I'm actually just explaining why I do things differently to them, so you get an idea of why things are done the way they are. So obviously there are people doing, their channels are doing the Bible in a year. You got like Genesis 1 to 3, for example. Why haven't I read 3 Psalms? The reason why I haven't read 3 Psalms is because, as I have said, it's a beginning channel for beginners. I don't want to bombard people with information, because that's nothing worse than me reading, well, 3 Psalms. That would just be a lot of information if you look at it this way. So I would have been doing Psalm 65, Psalm 66, and then Psalm 67. That's a lot of information for you to understand, because obviously not that I've got any issue researching and writing up the information and preparing the information for you, but that's a lot of information to understand about 3 Psalms. So that's why I don't do it that way. I just do 1 Psalm a day. It's some of the Psalms, oh my gosh, some of the Psalms are small, and we are going to come to the shortest Psalm in the book of Psalms, and also the longest Psalm in the book of Psalms soon. We're going to come to the longest before we come to the shortest. I will give you that one, and I don't know how long the longest one's going to be in length of video. Yeah, I'm a bit apprehensive of that one, to be honest, because it's going to come up, because it's 119. It's going to come up very short, not that short, in a couple of months. I think it works out about March time it will be doing that psalm. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one because of how long it is, and we all know what I'm like for stumbling. But it's part of the journey, so it's fine. So yeah, so sorry about that, but I just wanted to explain that. I just wanted to get it there why I'm doing these Psalms for this, what my Bible study group is about, and explain that we do one Psalm a day because it's easier. Don't want to bombard you with information. Nothing worse than being bombarded with too much information in one day, because if it's anything like me, my head gets fried after one day of information, so that's why I do it the way I do it. It's not a case of me being weird about it, it's just a case of, or I don't want to do, it's not a case of I don't want to put the work into doing extra videos or longer videos to cover the 3 Psalms or 2 Psalms, however much. It is actually a case of I do it in one Psalm a day because it's for you, the viewer, because at the end of the day, as I said, it's a Bible study with me. It's not a channel dedicated to me doing whatever. This is actually, you know, when you, cause my thing is, I do go to church and we do have Bible studies and we do it in people's homes or do it at the chapel, what have you. But I quite like online Bible studies because you can actually listen to it on the bus. I don't drive, so I do go on the bus. I'm not actually, well, you can go on them on your phone when you're driving, I guess. I'm not actually encouraging that. I obviously want you to drive safely, but it's obviously what you feel comfortable doing. You know, some people do like listening to Bible studies on a podcast while they're doing stuff, or like me, sat watching it and then writing up in my Bible or notebook, whatever, things like that. So that's why I wanted to get that out there. So I do apologise for the length of this video because I just wanted to explain that. I will do a separate video in a couple of days explaining the whole concept of the channel again, so we got an idea of what's going on. But yeah, so thank you for watching and for sticking it out this length of time. I do appreciate it, I really do. And please like my content, that I would really appreciate it. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel, and please turn on the notification bell so you get updates of content that gets uploaded to your channel. Obviously you'll get updates of when the Daily Psalm videos get uploaded to YouTube. Thank you and goodbye.